Hi, I'm Jeff McCausland, founder and CEO of Diamond 6 Leadership and Strategy. Today I want to talk about fundamentals. There's nothing more fundamental if you're in the world of leadership development like I am than how you define leadership. And if you think about fundamentals for sports, for example, they're the bedrock of good organizations. How you block and tackle in football, hitting, catching, and basically running in baseball, rebounding, dribbling, and shooting, free throws being the fundamentals of basketball. So if you think about this then, how you define leadership once again is a fundamental. And here at Diamond 6, our mission is to develop confident, effective leaders who can have the greatest impact on their organizations, communities, and the world as a whole. Well, why not use the word train, back to that fundamental argument, using sports as a metaphor? Well, training is the use of repetitive efforts to develop muscle memory. But again, when I talk about leadership and our mission there at Diamond 6, I talk about developing leaders. Leadership as a skill is subjective, requires critical thinking, reflection, dealing in time, the impact of ethics. And therefore, as a subjective characteristic of a human being or a subjective skill, it's not necessarily done by just doing repetitive things over and over. So let's come back to that question then. How do we define leadership? And if you were to Google the word leadership, you'd get 1,000 different definitions, some long, some short. The one we normally use is one provided by General Dwight Eisenhower. Leadership's all about defining what has to be done and getting others to want to do it. I like this definition for a number of reasons. One, it's fairly short and brief. You can remember that. Decide what has to be done, get others to want to do it. Number two, it comes from what I would argue is a very, very good leader, demonstrably by the fact that the guy served as a 5-star general in the military. Only a handful of people ever did that, and led perhaps the largest military operation in the entirety of the Second World War, that being the D-Day invasion. He also served 2 terms as President of the United States. And now historians treat the Eisenhower presidency far better than they did when Ike departed in 1960. What you may not know is Eisenhower was also a leader in education. He was the president of Columbia University from the time he would leave the Army until he would run for president in 1952. Last but not least, what I like about this definition is the second part. Get people to want to do it. Because you might imagine, my goodness, if I've been president, 5-star general, president of a major academic institution, all I need to do is give orders and everybody's going to take off, move out smartly, and provide maximum effort. But what Eisenhower is suggesting to us, quite wisely, is if we're going to get max performance out of any organization, any team, we've got to get them to buy into the direction in which we want to take them. So I would argue, as leaders think about themselves and developing leaders throughout that organization, thinking about that definition may be helpful. Thanks very much.